Progressive overload is going to scale with how advanced you are and how quickly you are able to gain muscle. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals about this today. And this is a topic that I get a lot of questions on. You know, I get people who are like, oh man, I need to rotate exercises all the time because I'm stalling on them and I'm not increasing. And I kind of look at them and go, well, you've been training a few years. How fast do you really think your lifts are going to go up? And like, well, they should be going up at least weekly. I should be able to pick up a rep every week, and I laugh at that. And what people need to think about there, let's not even talk about the small exercises or putting weight on the bar. Let's talk about even your big movements, your bench press, your pull-ups, your squats. All right. What people have to remember is that once the neural adaptations have been made to a new lift, and this is one of the things when you change the lifts all the time, aha, see, I'm progressing quick again. Well, you're learning a new motor pattern again. It's not that the muscles themselves are progressing, but think about big lifts. Let's talk about the bench press for a moment, right? Talk about just the flat bench. What is considered to be, in terms of even body weight ratios, a really, really elite bench press? Usually like a double body weight bench. Now, in order to maintain a double body weight bench, if you gain 10 pounds, then your bench has to go up 20 pounds, right? Ooh, now there's something to think about in terms of muscle growth. So realistically speaking, if your bench press goes up 10 pounds for every 5 pounds of muscle that you gain, and I'm not saying this is the exact ratio, but think about it in terms of how people view even those multipliers. Well, that would be indicative that it could take you a whole year to put 10 pounds on your bench press. And that's a big exercise. Or even think in terms of reps. Does anyone really think when you are not blasting anything and you're either conservative there or you're completely drug-free and natural, if you can bench 315 for 5 reps, you're obviously a very advanced lifter. How much muscle do you have to gain to do it for 6 clean reps? How much muscle do you have to gain to put another 10 pounds on that bar? So let's say 325 for 5. Okay. Now, if we use those multipliers, it'd be like 5 pounds. Well, that's not something you're going to do even in 1 year as an advanced lifter. So it's probably less than that. But let's say, realistically 2 pounds of muscle to increase that. So this is why this has to be thought of for scaling as you get more advanced. Okay? Are you going to see week-to-week progressive overload? If you need to gain 2 pounds of total muscle in your body, not water weight, not fat, but 2 pounds of actual muscle tissue to gain that next rep, 6 rep, 7th rep, but even a 6 rep, we think of that as like at least a 3% increase, and you're wondering at max. Well, that's still around 10 pounds. So for you to gain 10 pounds on your 5 rep sets, or to put 1 to 2 extra reps on there, you need to gain 2 pounds of muscle. For an advanced lifter, that is an entire year's worth of work. An entire year, if not more, of really hard, good training. And if you get really advanced, you may not even gain 2 pounds in a year. But 2 pounds of muscle. So think for a moment. How many guys out there, even if they've been training more than, say, 3 or 4 years hard, if you gained 2 pounds of muscle every year for the next 5 or 6 years, that would be transformative. It would be very significant. Okay? What does that turn into in terms of week-to-week training? Right? An entire year to put 10 pounds on the bar. 52 weeks in a year. Right? That literally means a pound every 5 weeks. 1 pound every 5 weeks. If you were gaining muscle at that rate even. So how do you measure that in progressive overload? Like, you're not even using 1 pound plates. So when you are no longer a novice, progressive overload is not always going to tell you a lot. Meaning, if you're changing lifts all the time, that's when you're seeing progression. You're changing your form. Well, obviously you're seeing more progression, adding a new lift in. But this is why people don't always like to do the same lifts. But I'm like, you're still gaining muscle, right? If you were doing your bench press and your curls and your extensions and whatever else really close to failure, aren't you stimulating muscle growth? Well, yeah. Because you're not gaining reps all the time doesn't mean you're not gaining muscle. It may just mean that you're a really advanced lifter, and since you're not rotating lifts and getting new neural gains all the time, the lifts that are your main lifts, the staple lifts in your program, and these are some of them for me: bench press, curls, things like that. Your staple lifts, the ones that you do all the time, well, they're going to go up extremely slow. It could take you 6 months to see an improvement, because if you go back to that other math, even a big bench like that, 1 pound every 5 weeks in theory, if you're gaining muscle at that rate, that's 5 pounds in 6 months. So if you gain a rep, so let's say even your 10 rep max turns into a 12 rep max, that's really good progress. If you've been training more than 5 years plus, that is good progress. For your 10 rep maxes to turn into 12 rep maxes every 6 months, you're doing well. Because people have to understand, when you've been training a long time, we're playing the long game. Okay? I mean, look at where I'm at here in terms of just overall size at 47. Every single probably gram of muscle, every half ounce of muscle that I gain is probably hours of hard work and sweat in the gym at this point. Every last drop. Okay? What you find as you get advanced, that it will take you an entire year to make the gains that the novice makes in 3 weeks. That's just our reality. Muscle gains is a slow process. Once you get through that first few months of new gains, it's a slow process. And it's about the long game. It's about consistency. Yes, the progressive overload needs to be there, but it's going to take a long time. And the sooner you realize that and can work within that context, the better. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.